Hello everyone, welcome back to another Dead by Daylight concept video. I'm feeling good today, which if you couldn't tell by my enthusiasm. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about a brand new chapter concept that I've come up with, and it's my first license that I'm doing, so let's hope that this doesn't get taken down and I don't get butchered by the YouTube gods. So, yeah, let's just get onto it, I think. The license I've chosen for this chapter is the Beholder franchise, more specifically Beholder 3. Now, for anyone who doesn't know what the Beholder franchise is, let me break it down for you. Beholder as a series was created by Warm Lamp Games, a Russian game studio, and the third game, which is the focus of this video, follows Frank Schwartz, a former ministry worker who was demoted to a property manager, and you were also greeted immediately by his family. Your wife Sabine, your youngest son Alexander, and your oldest daughter Kim. They all have their own personalities, with Kim being a bit more rebellious and going against the state, while Alex just tries to get by in his school life, and Sabine tries to keep the family uplifted after you were removed from your job. Your new job as property manager typically requires you eavesdropping and spying on your own tenants to see if they are following the government's strict orders. The game isn't subtle about how just truly awful the totalitarian authority is in Beholder. You're often forced to make quite harsh decisions, such as deciding whether or not to give a family penicillin medicine to save their dying boy, or to rat out your own co-worker who you formerly knew from your old job. Now, while Beholder isn't technically a horror game, there are a lot of real-world fears spreading from its themes of authoritarianism and totalitarian governments with dictators. And overall, it's a very compelling story that I felt deserved a place of recognition in Dead by Daylight. But how? What I decided to go with in the end was to try and capture the essence of gameplay of Beholder in a Dead by Daylight chapter by including a survivor and a map, this for being Frank Schwartz and the government residence map. I think it's best that we start with the main part of this chapter, that being Frank Schwartz as a survivor and his three unique perks: Societal Ideals, Property Manager, and Informant. Let's start with Societal Ideals. Societal Ideals: for each completed generator without interacting with the killer or injured/hooked survivors, you will gain a stack of haste that will be completely lost when interacting with the killer. As a perk, Societal Ideals is meant to embody the ignorance of these characters in the Beholder world to the greater evils and bad things going on in their government and their country as a whole. Now onto Property Manager. This perk focuses around items. When an item is out of charges, auras around the item will be revealed, these being the auras of the killer and survivor. Survivors who carry items with zero charges are also revealed to you. When a survivor brings you an item with zero charges, you are able to pick it up and refill it to 25% using a token. You have 4 tokens at the start of the game and gain 3 tokens per generator completed. Property Manager as a perk obviously represents the beginning monotony of Beholder, before the whole working for the government again and spying on your tenants. It revolves around filling up the washing machine, taking out the trash, and fixing the boiler. Now for the final perk, Informant. After one generator is completed, a locker will be highlighted to you. By going to this locker and entering it, you will be given 2 options, by pressing either of the active ability buttons. Pressing the first button will reveal the aura of all survivors and all generators. Pressing the second button will reveal the aura of the killer and any hex totems or killer specific items such as trapper traps or plague fountains to the survivor, with one locker being revealed to you every time you complete a generator. Informant as a perk obviously represents the entire second half and premise of Beholder, informing the authorities on not only just your tenants, but also of your fellow co-workers as you move into the main office building. Frank's perks, even conceptually, are all about giving you the edge over others, which is pretty thematically correct to Beholder as a series, with you being chosen for no specific reason now being in charge of other people, with them relying on you, not knowing that you're always watching them, essentially. Now, one thing a lot of people might say is that Frank doesn't have a very distinct look, and I kind of have to agree with that. But I feel like this opens the pathway for a lot of possible skins. You could have Sabine, the wife, Kim, your daughter, and you could even have other tenants such as Stephen Huberts, who is one of the top ministry workers in the office you work for, Nora Helm, the woman who tutors your son, Walter Bolhauser, your former friend and co-worker who turned out to be a scapegoat, Ernst Muller, the agent who starts you on your journey, Sybil Fells, who you have to get leverage and basically blackmail in the game, Elizabeth Weckett, who is the mother who you got the penicillin for her son, Frederica Feineben, who is the skater who falls in love with your daughter, or Wolf Henken, a spy for the ministry in rebel groups. And that's hardly even scratching the surface of skin potential with a possible Beholder chapter. Now, in terms of Beholder 3, you've only got two real choices for a map. Either the main government residence or the building where you work, and I decided to kind of make it a mix of these. There would be two maps that are added, the first being the government residence, with 3 floors with each room sort of representing one of the different characters or tenants you might encounter, and the vendor's stall on the outside being replaced by the shack. The second version of the map would be the office building where you work, with an underground section dedicated to the subway, which would then obviously have the basement inside. Now, I know overall a Beholder chapter is probably one of the least likely chapters, but I like to do niche licenses and I hope to do more in the future. So I hope this keeps you all pretty satiated for the next week, considering I'm not going to be uploading next week. I'm actually going on a trip abroad. I might consider uploading a video, but it's very unlikely, so don't keep your hopes up. Until then, though, I'm really glad you all came to see this. Have a wonderful day, and see you then.